All right, up to this point, we've been learning how to solve systems of equations by using graphing, by doing graphing. Today, what we're going to do is we're going to learn how to solve systems of equations doing it the algebraically way. All right. The first thing we're going to use is substitution. So substitution is going to be what we're going to be doing in order to solve these. Okay. Substitution just means I'm going to replace something in one of the equations. So let me give you two systems or two equations. So for example, y equals x plus 5 and y equals 6. So here's my two equations. All right. Basically, what I'm going to do is I'm going to substitute one of those equations in for the other one. Okay. So what do I mean by that? I'm going to take y equals 6, and because I know that y equals 6, I'm going to substitute it into this equation. So I'm going to use y equals x plus 5. And because I know that y is equal to 6, I'm going to put a 6 in place of that y. And I'm just going to put 6 equals x plus 5. As a result, I get an equation. Okay? So in this equation, I then just go ahead and solve it. So I would then subtract 5, because I'm trying to figure out what x is equal to. I'll subtract 5 from the other side like I do in any equation, and I get x is equal to 1, or 1 is equal to x. So this is telling me x is equal to 1. I noticed at the start it told me what y was equal to. So y was equal to 1, or sorry, x was equal to 1, y was equal to 6. So my solution for this one would be 1, 6. So if I wanted to graph that, this is the solution of where those two meet. All right? Boop. Okay, so how I'm going to do that is how I'm going to check it graphing-wise is, whoops, that's not what I want. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go ahead and enter those equations. Y equals x plus 5. Then I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to hit y equals 6. Okay? And if this comes out correctly, I should get a solution of 1/6 when I check my answer on Desmos. So I'm going to go ahead and look over here. And I look at the point of where they intersect. Whoop. And there we go. We get an answer of 1, 6. So that just confirms that, yes, I was correct in that. And so the answer was 1, 6. So let's go ahead and look at another one using substitution. We have y equals x minus 3. And y equals 2x. Okay? So again, I notice that they're both equal to y, so I can substitute for either one. I can either put 2x in for y up here, or I can do x minus 3 in for y down here. So I choose which one I want to substitute in for. All right? I'm going to take this 2x, I'm going to put it into there. So I'm going to end up writing this as 2x equals x minus 3. So again, I took this x minus 3, brought this down. I put this 2x in for y because that's what y was equal to. And so I got this equation, 2x equals x minus 3. All right? So I need to get x's by itself. So I'm going to move the x over here. So I'm going to subtract x. When I subtract x, this cancels out. 2x minus x gives me x. The right side is left with a negative 3, and so I get x is equal to negative 3. Now, unlike the previous problem, I don't have one that says y equals a number, so I'm going to have to substitute this solution in for one of these equations. So I get to choose which equation I want to put it into, and so I'm going to put it into this equation right here. All right? I'm going to put it in for y equals 2x. I'm going to go y equals 2. In the place of x, I'm going to put a negative 3. So I'm going to have y equals 2 times negative 3. So I put a negative 3 in for x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. So I get y equals negative 6. So I have x equals negative 3, y equals negative 6. So my coordinate points of intersection for the one solution would be negative 3, negative 6. Again, I can go check that just to make sure. I'm going to go back in here to Desmos. All right, I'm going to clear out my previous ones. I'm going to enter in those two equations, y equals x minus 3, y equals 2x. Okay, well, I'm going to have to do a little, move my grid around here. Oh, I need to change that. That says y minus y equals. There we go. So it should be -3, -6 is where it should be at. So it should be in quadrant 3 down here. And if I look, this is the point of intersection. So that means there's one solution. And yep, certainly is -3, -6. It confirms that. All right. You are going to do problem on 244. So if you take your book and you open up to 244, you are going to do problems A and B for practice. A and B.